Expect the unexpected when it comes to car trouble. We have an expert for you. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us is Kelly Stumpe, better known as the Car Mom and co-host of the Carpool podcast. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Fred.
Great to meet you. And the summer travel season is approaching, and it would be nice to have some peace of mind that car troubles won't get in the way. Tell us about some ways, first off, to prepare.
Yeah, sure. So summer is such a busy time, especially for families, whether it be like summer camp, summer school, or taking a road trip, which about 75% of Americans are this summer. You want to make sure that you have a safe and reliable vehicle. And one really good way that families can do that is to make sure that they have a rental reimbursement coverage. This is an optional add-on to your insurance policy, but it covers the cost of a rental car if your vehicle gets in an accident and it needs to be repaired. And this is really important because it's not, if your car needs to go into the shop to get repaired, it's not 1 or 2 days. Enterprise data tells us that on average, you're looking at up to 2 weeks. So imagine a family, the dead of summer, being left without their vehicle for 2 weeks. It would really throw a wrench into their plans. So this extra coverage gives you peace of mind, and then you're not stuck paying for a rental car out of pocket.
Is it a standard thing typically with car insurance, or is it something you really need to inquire about?
A good question. So it is an optional add-on. So don't make the assumption if you have full coverage insurance that you have this kind of coverage. It would just be a simple call to your insurance agent to, request adding this. And if I can go a layer deeper, it's not just about having the coverage, but it's also about having the right amount of coverage, because you want to make sure that if your vehicle does have to get repaired, you are getting a similar vehicle to the one that you own. I have 4 kids. If my coverage only covered a Toyota Camry, I would have to tell one of my kids they weren't going to summer camp that day. So it's not just having it, it's having the right amount.
People often think of this when it comes to just everyday driving. I have an accident. Oh, I'm going to get a replacement car for the time it takes to repair
Yeah.
mine. But they don't necessarily think of it with the vacations and how it can interrupt things.
Yeah, totally.
So you are a car reviewer and a lover of all things automotive. How did that attraction begin, Kelly?
Yeah. So I'm from the St. Louis area, and my parents owned car dealerships in St. Louis. So I started selling cars right out of college. I sold at a BMW store, and I really just fell in love with the business. I thought the cars were interesting, the people were interesting, the car buying process was so fun that I just kind of, I guess, got bit by the bug and I never left. So when I became a mom, I started looking at cars differently. Now I'm thinking about the second row, the ventilation, the safety, the car seats, the strollers. And I kind of realized there wasn't anybody really advocating for the moms and for the parents out there in terms of what actually makes a good family car. We're told that if you have kids, you need a minivan, but is that the case? There's all these other vehicles to explore. So I started doing really tailored reviews from a mom's perspective. I'm a car seat technician, so I'm certified in all things child passenger safety. So my reviews consist of installing car seats, showing the trunk space with a stroller in it, and just really looking at a vehicle a little differently.
Interesting. And I assume it's not always been easy for a woman in that world, the automotive world. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's I think one way that I've really been able to connect to my audience who are intimidated by the car buying process is because kind of the same truth was for me on the other side. Like the same way that women felt like they weren't respected when they were buying a car, I felt like I wasn't respected sometimes when I was selling cars. Like you're kind of dealing with the same issues just on different sides of the aisle. And that really saddened me because I love the car business and I look at local family owned dealerships all across the country. And I know that there's good eggs in this industry and there's good salespeople who want to just give women and families like the best car buying experience. So I just try to find ways on how I can connect my audience to these really good local family owned dealerships. So I like to share a lot of, while I love the cars and like the car seats and all of that, I also really love sharing car buying tips for women, first time car buyers, or just anyone who feels, you know, not great about the car buying process.
Any specific tips you'd like to share with us? I mean, today there's a lot of
Yeah,
confusion, for instance, about EVs.
yeah. So I think one of my biggest tips for improving your car buying experience is to put yourself in control of who you work with, right? you can choose your salesperson. A lot of people just show up to the dealership Saturday, 3 p.m., and then they are left at the mercy of who's available. And like, insider secret, the good salespeople are not available Saturday at 3 p.m. Like, they are busy, they are working by appointment. So then you're left with whoever else is available. So my number one tip is to choose your salesperson ahead of time. You can do this by checking out the dealer's website, reading Google reviews, and seeing a salesperson's name who's getting mentioned over and over again. There's also a website called Dealer Rater that allows you to read reviews about individual salespeople. And then I would call up the dealership and I would schedule an appointment with your preferred salesperson, whether it be like maybe a woman, someone with a ton of experience, sometimes someone with just a ton of reviews. That way, you know, when you go into the dealership, you're not at the mercy of who's available, but you're working with your selected salesperson. And I think that if you just do that one step, you will have a much better car buying process.
Tell us about the resources online, and should people be arming themselves better when they're in the car buying process?
For sure. So I think that when it comes to, what everyone wants to feel like, my dad always used to tell me that people like to buy a car, but they don't like to feel like they're being sold. Like, buying a car is a very exciting time, but then why do so many Americans feel like they have to have their guard up when they're there? And I think it's just because people come unprepared to the dealership. There's so much more transparency in car buying than there ever has been before because of what the internet has done just for the car buying process. You can see what a car is worth. Everyone knows what a car is worth. And the dealership knows that you're not coming in on their specific Chevy Traverse because it's $5,000 overpriced. So I think just the best way to really empower yourself is to have a good understanding of what the vehicle you're looking at is worth. If you want to make a lower offer on a car, that's totally fine. Like, you can still negotiate car deals, but you have to be able to justify that offer. So are you justifying offering $2,000 less because you saw one up the street that was $2,000 less because that's what the Kelley Blue Book said? You don't just want to go in blindly and start asking for money off. You want to be able to justify your offer. And then another big way that people can get a good deal at the dealership is negotiate their trade-in. So many people forget that when you trade in a vehicle, you are essentially selling the dealership your car. So what you don't want to do is devalue your own trade, right? Don't go in there and tell them, oh yeah, this thing, it's on its last leg, it smells like, it needs new tires. All you're doing is giving that salesperson leverage to offer you less money for your car. So instead, less is more. Yeah, I'm trading in my car, it's been great, I'm just ready for something new. Don't give them the reasons why they should offer you less for your car.
Just like a salesperson is not going to tell you reasons why you shouldn't buy these extras in your vehicle,
Yeah.
right?
Right. For sure.
Where can people go to learn more and follow all that you have to say?
Yeah, so if you're interested in rental reimbursement coverage, you can go to enterprise.com/rental reimbursement. And if you're interested in following more about the Car Mom, I have a podcast with my sister called The Carpool. We talk all things automotive, but from the angle of like two girls gossiping about pop culture. It's actually a very entertaining podcast. If you want to hear all about like the crazy things that are going on in the auto industry, that's over at the Carpool podcast. And you can find my vehicle reviews on YouTube or thecarmom.com.
Terrific. Kelly Stumpe, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thanks.